My sister called me and said she had been doing the math. Her 3 kids would need about $300,000 total for college. And since I do not have kids of my own, she had decided I should pay for it. She was not asking, she was telling me. Like my money was automatically hers because I chose not to have children. My name is Melissa and I am 30 years old. I live in Seattle, Washington, where I work as a software engineer for a tech company. I make good money, around $140,000 a year, and I have been careful with my finances. I live in a nice apartment, drive a decent car, take vacations, and have a healthy savings account. I have worked hard to get where I am, and I'm proud of the life I have built. I am also child-free by choice. I have known since I was in my early 20s that I did not want children. It is not that I hate kids or think there is anything wrong with having them. I just never felt the desire to be a mother. I like my freedom, my career, my ability to make decisions based only on what I want. I have never wavered on this decision, and I have never regretted it. My older sister Amanda is 35. She has 3 kids. Tyler is 12, Madison is 10, and Connor is 7. Amanda got married young at 23 to her high school sweetheart Brian. They started having kids right away. Amanda was a stay-at-home mom for years, and Brian works as a manager at a hardware store. They are not wealthy by any means, but they get by. They live in a modest house in the suburbs, drive older cars, and budget carefully to make ends meet. Growing up, Amanda and I were close. We had the typical sister relationship. We fought sometimes, but mostly got along. As adults, we drifted apart a bit. Our lives were just very different. She was focused on her kids and family life. I was focused on my career and personal goals. We would see each other at family gatherings and holidays, and we would text occasionally, but we were not as close as we had been as kids. Our parents always treated us differently because of our life choices. They were thrilled when Amanda got married and started having kids. Every pregnancy announcement was met with tears of joy and celebrations. Every milestone the kids hit was documented and praised. When I told them I did not want children, they thought I was going through a phase. They said I would change my mind when I got older, when I met the right person, when my biological clock started ticking. They did not take me seriously. When I turned 28 and was still adamantly child-free, they started to realize I was serious. My mom cried. She said she had always dreamed of having grandchildren from both her daughters. My dad said I was being selfish, that I would regret it someday. They both made it clear they were disappointed in my choice. But they got over it eventually, or at least they stopped bringing it up constantly. They had 3 grandchildren from Amanda, so that seemed to satisfy their need for grandkids. They stopped asking me when I was going to have babies, and accepted that Amanda kids were the only grandchildren they would get. The trouble started about 6 months ago. Amanda called me on a Tuesday night. I was at home relaxing after work, watching TV and eating dinner. "Hey Mel," she said when I answered. She sounded stressed.
Do you have a minute to talk?
"Sure," I said. "What's up?" "It's about the kids," she said. "They are getting older and I'm starting to think about college. Tyler will be starting high school in a couple of years, and college is right around the corner after that." "Okay," I said, not sure where this was going. "Brian and I have been trying to save, but it is so expensive. We have 3 kids and we are barely keeping up with day-to-day expenses. There's nothing left over to put into college savings. I am terrified that we will not be able to afford to send them to college." I felt bad for her. That had to be stressful. "That is tough," I said. "Have you looked into financial aid, scholarships? There are a lot of options out there." "We are going to apply for everything we can," she said. "But I have been doing research, and even with financial aid, we are going to be short. Way short. I have been running the numbers, and if all 3 kids go to state schools and live at home, we are still looking at probably $100,000 or more in total costs over the years. That is a lot." I agreed. "Which is why I wanted to talk to you," she said. Her tone changed slightly. Less stressed, more expectant. "I was hoping you might be able to help. I should have seen it coming, but somehow I did not." "Help how?" "Help pay for their college," she said, like it was obvious. "You do not have kids of your own, so you have extra money. and they are your nephews and niece. I thought maybe you would want to invest in their future." I was quiet for a moment, processing what she was asking. "Amanda, I cannot pay for 3 kids to go to college. That is a huge amount of money." "Not all at once," she said quickly, "just as they go. Tyler first, then Madison, then Connor. You could set up accounts for them or just help with tuition each semester, whatever works for you." "I do not think you understand," I said. "That is not extra money I have lying around. That is my savings. That is money I have worked hard to save." "But you do not have kids," she said. "What are you saving it for? You do not have college tuition or braces or sports fees or any of the expenses I have. Your money is just sitting there. Why not use it to help my family?" "Because it is my money," I said, trying to stay calm. "I have saved it for my own future, for retirement, for emergencies, for whatever I might need down the road." "But they are family," Amanda said. "They are your nephews and niece. Do you not want to help them succeed?" "Of course I want them to succeed," I said, "but paying for their college is not my responsibility. It is yours and Brian. That is really selfish, Mel," she said. Her voice had gone cold. "You have so much and we have so little. I am asking you to help your own family, and you are saying no?" "I am saying I cannot take on that financial burden," I said. "Amanda, I love your kids, but I cannot pay for their college. That is not what being an aunt means." "Wow," she said. "I guess I know where I stand with you." She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone, feeling like I had been hit by a truck. Had that really just happened? Had my sister really just asked me to fund her kids' college education and then called me selfish when I said no? I called my best friend Jenna and told her what happened. "That is insane," Jenna said. "She cannot seriously expect you to pay for 3 kids to go to college. That is hundreds of thousands of dollars." "She does expect it," I said. "She acted like it was a reasonable request. Like, of course I should pay since I do not have my own kids." "That is not how it works," Jenna said. "You being child-free does not mean you owe her your money. You earn that money. You get to decide what to do with it." "I feel guilty, though," I admitted. "She is struggling and I am not. Maybe I should help a little." "Do not," Jenna said firmly. "The moment you give her any money for this, she will expect more. And she will never see it as a gift. She will see it as what you owe her." Jenna was right. I knew she was right. But I still felt guilty. The next day, my mom called. "Melissa Amanda told me about your conversation last night." I sighed. Of course she had. "Mom, before you say anything, I need you to understand that what she is asking is unreasonable. She wants me to pay for 3 kids to go to college. That could be $300,000 or more over the next 10 years. She is not asking for $300,000 all at once," my mom said. "She is asking if you can help. That is what family does. We help each other. Helping each other is loaning someone $50 for groceries," I said, "or watching the kids for a weekend. This is asking me to take on a massive financial commitment for kids that are not mine. They are your nephews and niece," my mom said, "and you are in a position to help. You make good money. You do not have children to support. You do not have the expenses Amanda has. Why would not you want to help?" "Because I have worked hard for my money," I said, "and I am saving it for my own future. Just because I do not have kids does not mean I do not have financial goals." "What are you saving for that is more important than your family?" my mom asked. "My retirement," I said. "My security. Maybe a house someday. Travel, medical emergencies. A million things, Mom. I am 30 years old. I have an entire future ahead of me that I need to plan for." "You are being selfish," my mom said. "Amanda has given up so much to raise those children. She stayed home for years. She sacrificed her career. And you will not even help her make sure her kids can go to college." "That was her choice," I said. "I'm not saying it was a bad choice, but it was her choice. I made different choices. I chose to focus on my career. I chose not to have kids. My choices allowed me to save money, yes. But that does not mean I owe that money to Amanda." "Family is supposed to take care of each other," my mom said. Then why is not anyone asking if Amanda's kids can help pay for my retirement someday? I asked. If family is supposed to take care of each other, why is the obligation only going one direction? My mom did not have an answer to that. You are going to regret this, she said. When those kids grow up and remember that their aunt refused to help them when they needed it, you are going to regret it. If they grow up resenting me because their parents told them I should have paid for their college, that is not on me, I said. That is on Amanda and Brian for not teaching them that other people are not obligated to fund their lives. My mom hung up on me too. Over the next few weeks, the pressure intensified. My dad called and gave me a lecture about family values. My aunt called and told me I was being heartless. Amanda sent me long text messages about how hard her life was and how easy mine was in comparison. The worst part was the extended family finding out. At a family gathering for my cousin's birthday, I could feel everyone looking at me differently, whispering, judging. My uncle pulled me aside. I heard you are refusing to help Amanda with college costs. That is not exactly accurate, I said. She asked me to pay for all 3 of her kids' college. I said I could not take on that financial burden. But you could afford to help some, could not you? He asked. Probably, I said. But the question is not whether I can afford it. The question is whether I should be expected to. And I do not think I should. They are family, he said. So am I replied. But no one seems to care about my financial security or my future. Everyone just assumes that because I do not have kids, my money should go to Amanda's kids instead. That is not fair, he said. Exactly, I said. It is not fair. It is not fair to expect me to fund someone else's children just because I chose not to have my own. He walked away shaking his head. Amanda cornered me later that same day. We need to talk, she said, pulling me into an empty room. I do not think there is anything to talk about, I said. I already gave you my answer. You do not understand how hard this is, she said. Her eyes were red like she had been crying. Brian and I are drowning. We can barely afford the basics. And you are over here living your best life with no responsibilities, and you will not even help us. I have responsibilities, I said. I have a job, I have bills, I have my own life to manage. But you do not have kids, she said. You do not understand what it is like. The constant expenses, the worry about their future, the pressure to give them everything they need. You are right, I said. I do not understand, because I chose not to have kids. That was a deliberate choice I made specifically because I did not want those responsibilities. So my kids should suffer because of your choice, she asked. Your kids are not suffering because of my choice, I said. If they suffer, it is because you and Brian had 3 children without a solid financial plan for their futures. How dare you, she said, her voice rising. We did not plan to struggle. Life happened. Things got expensive. The economy changed. We are doing the best we can. I know you are, I said, and I am sorry it is hard, but that does not make it my responsibility. Fine, she said. Then do not expect to be part of their lives. If you are not going to invest in them financially, then you do not get to be their aunt. That is not fair, I said. Life is not fair, she shot back, and you are about to find out just how unfair it can be when your family cuts you out. She left, and I stood there alone, feeling like I had been punched in the gut. Over the next few months, things got worse. Amanda stopped inviting me to family events. When I would show up to things my parents hosted, she would leave early or avoid me completely. The kids started acting distant with me because clearly they had been told something. At Thanksgiving dinner, Amanda made pointed comments. It must be nice, Melissa, to have so much money and no one to spend it on. I wish I had that luxury. Maybe then I could afford to send my kids to college. Everyone at the table got quiet. My mom gave me a look like I should just apologize and agree to help. My dad looked uncomfortable. Amanda, I am not going to discuss this at Thanksgiving dinner, I said quietly. Why not? She said. Are you embarrassed? You should be. You should be embarrassed that you care more about your bank account than your own nephews and niece. That is enough, I said, my voice firm. I care about Tyler, Madison, and Connor very much, but I am not going to be guilted into paying for their college education. They have parents. Those parents are responsible for figuring out how to pay for college, not me." "Unbelievable," Amanda said. "Absolutely unbelievable." She got up and left, taking Brian and the kids with her. Half the table looked at me like I was a monster. The other half looked uncomfortable, but no one said anything in my defense. I left shortly after. I could not sit there and be judged by people who did not understand the situation. The breaking point came a few weeks later. I got a call from Tyler, Amanda's oldest. He had gotten my number somehow. "Aunt Melissa," he said. His voice was shaking. "Can I talk to you?" "Of course," I said. "What is going on?" "Mom told me you are not going to help pay for my college," he said. "She said it is because you do not care about us." My heart broke. "Tyler, that is not true at all. I care about you very much." "Then why will you not help?" he asked. "Mom says you have plenty of money. She says you are being selfish." "Tyler," I said carefully, "your mom and I have a disagreement about money and responsibilities, but it has nothing to do with how much I care about you." "But I want to go to college," he said, "and Mom says we cannot afford it unless you help. Please, Aunt Melissa, I will pay you back someday, I promise." I felt sick. Amanda had weaponized her own child against me. She had told him that his future depended on me and that I was refusing to help out of selfishness. "Tyler," I said, "your mom and dad are going to figure out a way to help you go to college. There are scholarships and financial aid and student loans. Lots of kids go to college without their aunts paying for it. But Mom says you could pay for it easily," he said. "She says you just do not want to." "That is not the whole story," I said. "This is an adult issue, Tyler. It is between your mom and me. But I promise you, this has nothing to do with how much I love you." He hung up without saying goodbye. I called Amanda immediately. "How dare you?" I said when she answered. "How dare you put Tyler in the middle of this?" I did not put him in the middle of anything she said. He asked why his aunt does not want to help him, and I told him the truth. "The truth," I said. "The truth is that you are using your children as weapons because you are not getting your way." "I am teaching them about family," she said. "I am teaching them who shows up when things get hard." "You are teaching them to manipulate people," I said. "You are teaching them that they are entitled to other people's money. You are teaching them all the wrong lessons." "Get off your high horse, Melissa," she said. "Not everyone can be as perfect and independent as you." "I have never claimed to be perfect," I said, "but I am not going to be bullied into paying for your kids' college. Not by you, not by Mom and Dad, and not by Tyler." "Then I guess we have nothing left to say to each other," she said. "I guess not," I replied. We have not spoken since. That was 3 months ago. My relationship with my parents is strained. They think I should apologize to Amanda and reconsider helping with college costs. They keep telling me that family is more important than money. They do not seem to understand that this is not about the money. It is about boundaries. It is about not being treated like an ATM just because I made different life choices. Some extended family members have reached out to tell me they think I am in the right. My cousin Sarah texted me saying she thought what Amanda was doing was manipulative and wrong. My uncle on my dad's side called to say he respected my decision and thought Amanda was out of line. But the damage has been done. My relationship with Amanda might be permanently broken. My relationship with her kids definitely is. They have been told that I do not care about them enough to help them, and no amount of explaining is going to undo that. I have moments where I wonder if I should have just said yes, if I should have offered to help with some of the costs just to keep the peace. But then I remember how Amanda approached this, not as a humble request, but as an expectation. Not as something I might consider, but as something I owed. And I remember Jenna's words, "The moment you give in, she will expect more." This would never have been a one-time thing. If I paid for Tyler college, Amanda would expect me to pay for Madison and Connor too. And then what? Would I be expected to pay for their weddings, their first homes, their kids' educations? Where does it end? I talked to my therapist about all of this. She helped me see that this is not really about college money. This is about Amanda resenting my life choices. She chose to have 3 kids and stay home and live a modest life. I chose to be child-free and focus on my career and have more financial freedom. Neither choice is wrong, but Amanda sees my life and feels like I got the better deal. And instead of accepting that we made different choices with different outcomes, she wants me to subsidize her choices so the outcomes feel more equal. But that is not how life works. We all make choices and we all live with the consequences of those choices. Amanda chose to have 3 kids, knowing she and Brian did not make a lot of money. That was her choice to make, but the consequences of that choice are hers to bear, not mine. I am child-free by choice. I do not have extra money because I do not have kids. I have savings because I worked hard, made sacrifices, lived below my means, and planned for my future. That money is not extra. It is mine, and I get to decide what to do with it. If I want to spend it on travel, I can. If I want to save it for retirement, I can. If I want to donate it to charity, I can. And if I want to help family members, I can do that too. But it has to be my choice, not an obligation, not an expectation, a choice. Amanda took away my choice by making this an expectation, by telling her kids that I was obligated to help, by turning the whole family against me when I said no. She made it impossible for me to help even if I wanted to, because helping now would be giving in to manipulation and bullying. So where does that leave me? I'm 30 years old with a successful career, a healthy savings account, and a family that mostly thinks I am selfish and heartless. I have lost my relationship with my sister and my nibblings. My parents are disappointed in me. Half my extended family thinks I am wrong. But I also have my boundaries intact. I have my financial security, I have my self-respect, and I have the knowledge that I did not let myself be manipulated into taking on a financial burden that was not mine to carry. Was it worth it? I do not know yet. Ask me in 20 years when Amanda kids are adults and I am enjoying my retirement that I was able to save for. Ask me then if I regret not giving in. Right now, all I know is that I made the choice that felt right for me. I stood up for myself. I set a boundary and I held it, even when everyone told me I was wrong. My name is Melissa. I'm 30 years old and child-free by choice. My sister expected me to fund her 3 kids' college education because I have extra money. When I said no, my whole family turned against me. But I do not regret my decision, because at the end of the day, I have to live with myself. And I could not live with myself if I let people manipulate and bully me into giving up my financial security just to keep the peace. Being child-free does not mean I owe anyone anything. It means I made a different choice, and that choice does not make me selfish. It makes me human. If you are child-free and facing pressure from family to fund other people's kids or other people's choices, I want you to hear this. You do not owe anyone your money. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your life choices. You do not owe anyone access to your financial security. Your money is yours. Your choices are yours. Your life is yours. And anyone who tells you otherwise, anyone who tries to guilt you or manipulate you or turn others against you because you would not do what they wanted, they are the ones with the problem, not you. Set your boundaries. Hold them, and do not apologize for living your life on your own terms. Because at the end of the day, you are the only one who has to live with the consequences of your choices. Make sure those consequences are ones you can live with.